in your life become stagnant, you're no longer happy with what you're doing, then you figure out what's important to you. Then create your own penis showing game. Welcome in to the Bro 4 Squad podcast. This is episode 94, and just as we've been since the start, we're just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. This is our 2019 movie Thanksgiving, and I'm your host, the mayor, Jeff Hornacek. Before we get started with the movie discussions, let's go around and meet the fellow bros. With us, as always, in the lab is the mad scientist, Brian Banner. Banner, scientifically speaking, how much stuffing is too much stuffing?
Well, it depends. If it's like actual stuffing out of the turkey, like any amount, because that's just unsanitary. You're going to eat something out of a turkey's butt? Please. Now, if it's like the little breadcrumb ones that you make with the chicken stock, like 7.
So you won't eat stuffing out of a turkey's butt, yet in college I watched you eat SpaghettiOs with a clothes hanger. It's a true story.
Yeah, I don't understand what the problem is.
That really happened. And I just remember our other roommate, Brent Berry, saying, Brian, we have spoons.
They were packed in the boxes, though, and I didn't want to find them.
All right. Whatever, man. Next, we go to the enforcer, Matt Geiger, in the paint. Matt, there are apparently people out there who call gravy dressing, and I really just want to know when you and I are going to find each and every one of them and beat the absolute shit out of them.
Yeah, we need to do a Jay and Silent Bob and just go house to house and be like, "For you, Tim Jackson," and then just kick the shit out of him. Because in the words of Dwight Schrute, we need a new plague. Because these people just need to fucking go.
We should have like a little tub of gravy or something and just knock on the door and be like, "Hey, what do you call this?" And if any of them say dressing,
Are you a white gravy or dark gravy fan?
Dark gravy, for sure.
On turkey, I think I'm dark gravy.
See, that's what I am. It depends on what am I having it with. Because chicken fried steak, I want white gravy. But with like turkey, I want dark gravy.
Biscuits and gravy, definitely white gravy.
Yeah, if you get dark gravy near my biscuits and gravy, then I'm just calling Matt up saying we need some thumbs broken. Matt and I just watched Rocky, and breaking thumbs used to be like all the rage.
Absolutely.
It was like the Visco girls of the 70s.
Thing, man.
All right, we start every episode off with the most important thing in any bro's life, and that is our chest day. So our chest day topic tonight, it's that time of year where you get drunk at the Thanksgiving table and make a borderline inappropriate comment to a relative that inevitably starts an argument. And we figured we'd do the same thing as a podcast and go around and say something that we are thankful for at the moment, or I guess it could even just be in general, in the world of TV and movies. So again, it is our Bro 4 Squad 2019 Thanksgiving, but with no cranberry sauce. Actually, I meant to do this at the top. I'm sorry. And I'll just do it at the end of chest day. I have a few corrections from last episode, things that I fucked up. So it's only appropriate that I fuck up and forget to mention it in this episode. So Matt, let's go to you first. 2019 BFS Thanksgiving. What are you thankful for?
This is going to be a shocker to you guys. I'm thankful for Charlie's Angels. That fucking bombed at the box office this weekend. And this is why. Because it finally opens up a conversation that I think people are just scared to have. But Elizabeth Banks is going on basically a media spree saying that, the reason the movie bombed is because men don't go see female-led action movies, even though Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel,
The Hunger Games, Salt.
The reason why that Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel, according to her, what did so well at the box office is because they are led into a male-leaded action hero movie.
Yeah, my fiance really knew that when we were watching that.
And she also went on to say, and which is crazy for me because I love Elizabeth Banks, right? I did.
Oh, I used to, yeah.
Until I read this stuff. But then she went on to say, you need to support this movie or we're not going to have women in Hollywood anymore or any of that. So this is where I'm going to get to the part where I'm thankful for. First off, if you've been listening to the pod for a while, you know I'm a huge Tom Hardy fan, and supporting his movies I shall, and I did. But you know what? After about the 4th shitty movie that I went and saw in theaters, I'm not going to support his shit anymore unless it looks good. And if a trailer doesn't look good, if it's not marketed well, if it's a Charlie's Angels thing that actually was a TV show, a great TV show in the 70s,
I love the one in 2000.
Yeah, and then they redid it in 2000. You know why? Because our generation's parents told us, hey, you should go see this because this was a big show when I was a kid. Now the generation, they don't even know what the fuck it is, and none of them have seen the 2001. And this is the biggest point, and this is why I'm thankful. Because in this movie, they had Megan Rapinoe from the United States national team, Kristen Stewart, who's basically a bisexual that is...
Are you making a
really
joke about
political.
Megan Rapinoe, or was she really in it?
She was really in it. She was
Okay.
really in the movie. And but the thing is, they don't understand the reason that it bombed is because Kristen Stewart, who's playing Farrah Fawcett's character, she's not the same. They're basically giving Kristen Stewart, this is just Kristen Stewart trying to give you her propaganda on how to vote or how to see life. People don't want to go to movies to see that shit. That's why it fucking bombed. It's not because it's a female action. It's basically because you're trying to subject your narrative onto people that really just want to go to a movie and see a cool action flick of chicks kicking ass. And I think this is really going to start changing where they're going to be doing these Ghostbusters, these Charlie's Angels, these Ocean's 11s that have nothing really to do with the franchise. They're just using the franchise name to hopefully profit off their fans and then get their own message in it. If you want to get your own message, I'm more than fine with that. You're an artist, you're a director, you're a writer, whatever you are, but make your own movie of it. Don't fucking suffocate an old franchise and try to revive it just to get your message because it's going to gain a couple more millions of fans. And I think that's finally coming to an end, and I'm really thankful for it.
So when she said people need to go support this, who was she talking to?
Men, basically.
Okay, so women aren't allowed to make financial decisions in their houses?
This is the thing, Jeff. The reason
because women clearly didn't go see it either if it made $8 million.
Here's I'll tell you guys why nobody went and saw the fucking movie. The marketing was horrible.
Yeah, I thought it
terrible
was
trailer.
But I didn't
even they didn't shove it down our throats. I honestly forgot this movie was even getting made.
And
let alone
Scott,
and it came out.
Princess Jasmine was in it. Why didn't they market off that at all, man? She's a hot name right now in Hollywood.
That's the one thing too, is like a lot of people don't even know the one girl. I don't even know who she is. Naomi Scott, I'm like, someone had to tell me she was Jasmine. I'm like, oh yeah. And then Kristen Stewart, I'm like, that didn't even look like Kristen Stewart. She has a Miley Cyrus haircut. I'm like, and I didn't even like her. No one liked her in Twilight. So you have three people. In 2000s, we had Lucy Liu, who everyone thought was a hot Asian. And then you had fucking Drew Barrymore and Cameron Diaz, who were red hot names, who were actually funny and sexy at the same time. None of these girls are even funny.
And Bill Murray at the time.
Yeah, and Bill Murray. Elizabeth Banks is playing Bosley, which is another fucking reason that I'm like, okay, so basically the only
the director really likes her, okay?
Yeah, and the only male lead in this movie I had to take from it, it's not.
I guarantee you a male is the villain, though.
I don't know. I didn't see it. I was just reading reviews.
No, I'm just guessing.
I'm the person she was talking to because I didn't take my wife and support her. Why do I need to support you, Elizabeth? I'm the one with fucking bills working a 9 to 5. Why don't you support me? I think you're doing just fine.
I think that would have been easier than this whole Twitter political tirade, and this coming from someone who like never gets into politics, if she just made a good movie.
See, that's the thing, and I'm hoping this is what comes to a stop. So instead of, if we do this political thing, then all these people, that's what you don't understand. The people that are bitching for all these rights don't have any money, so they're not going to go fucking see your goddamn movie. Just make a good movie, and people will go see it.
I saw Midsommar and The Farewell in theaters the second weekend they were out, and those are much smaller budget female-led films. I just want to see a good movie, man. Something that helps me forget about all the shit I'm dealing with, like, day to day. So just make that, and I'll go see it. And Banner's right. This was not marketed great, but I saw this, and this was like, for someone of her age who should be much more in touch with things, this was like old man yelling at the cloud. Like, of course, it's not your fault the movie bombed, right? It's everyone else's.
Well, and the thing is, and no one wants to go to a movie and feel like they're being preached to, or so. That's why we go to movies, so we don't have to watch the crap on CNN or Fox News or whatever, And I'm not, I don't even vote, so I don't know which one's worse, CNN or Fox News. I don't watch them. So when I go to a movie, I want to forget about all that. I don't want to be shoved down my throat. It's like, oh, you should be thinking left-wing style, or, do you know women don't get this, or, she
acts like women can't go buy a movie ticket on their own. Like, how many times do we go out and we just ignore what our wife or girlfriend wants to do, and we just do what we want to do? Never. If women wanted to see this movie, we'd be there with them.
And I don't care if you're a man, you're a woman, what ethnicity you are or anything. Sometimes you just got to suck it up and be like, you know what? We marketed this piss poor and it's a fucking shitty movie. And that's all there is to it. I'll try to do better next time. No director has gone 100%. Not even Tarantino. So,
And with her doing all this hoopla and getting mad on it, makes me want to see it less.
I know.
How many times have there been movies that
if
were...
I see it, it'll be illegally. And the FBI probably won't give a shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, somebody's watching it.
But I hate when people say, you need to come support me. I'm like, why? It didn't look good. If the movie doesn't look good, I don't really care who's in it.
Yeah, man, it's art. Like, you have to make me want to go see it. It's not like you're starving.
And that's what people don't get either is, other than Rian Johnson, because he fucked up Star Wars, I've never am like, oh, they directed that? Now I want to go see it. If the trailer looks good, or if it has an actor in it that I enjoy, then yes. But none of these actresses, even... I wish we had some... like a woman podcast that we team with, because I'd like to ask a woman that's really into movies if they are like over the moon that Naomi Scott and Kristen Stewart are in this. Wouldn't they be more over the moon if it was, I don't fucking know, Jennifer Lawrence or, someone kind of a bigger
My
name?
girl Brie Larson.
Brie Larson, Jennifer Lawrence, and Scarlett Johansson
would have been great.
happen.
Haley Steinfeld's who they really fucking needed in this thing.
But there's a lot of other people that I'm like, okay. I mean, Naomi Scott's not a big enough name to carry a Charlie's Angels franchise that's kind of just dead in the water anyway.
Yeah. Very well said. All right, Banner, what are you thankful for?
I am thankful for binge-worthy, watchable shows. Did that come out right?
I think so.
Crazy. Yeah, it did, actually.
Yeah, God, I
way
shock
you
myself
do it.
sometimes.
Traffic.
No way you could do it again.
No, not a chance in hell I could do it again.
As Cap says in the Avengers, I understood that reference.
Yeah. So I am thankful for that because I just remember back in the day having to wait every week for 22 weeks to know what's going to happen. Where now I can watch 22 episodes back to back to back to back in 4 days.
That leads me to an awful point. We check out our Mandalorian review, which comes out week to week.
Yeah.
Disney Plus.
Well, I didn't realize how spoiled we are with Netflix and Amazon and all these streaming services dropping the entire season at once. And I know what your point's going to be in just a second. Well, actually I don't, because you started to talk and I was wrong. So go ahead.
Well, real quick, I was just going to say shows with like reveals, like True Detective, and then obviously The Mandalorian, where like both episodes at the end have like an oh shit, what does that mean moment. I think those are cooler week to week, because I already told you, if they dropped the whole Mandalorian at once, I'd already have all these questions answered. I would have just fucking stayed up, which I think would have been cheating myself.
Yeah, I agree with that, but like the silly, like that 70s show, that show was week to week. I spent like 10 years of my life watching that every day or every Thursday night when it came out. But now with things coming out on Netflix, you don't have to stop. You don't have that, oh, fun, oh man, I want to watch it again. You get to watch the whole thing.
If I'm someone making a show, I don't want it to be binged, but I get why you need to do it. And I'm with you.
I think there's bingeable shows, kind of like that 70s show. I mean, just to put out the whole season, but I kind of disagree on, especially Game of Thrones. I think some of the most fun things was, especially when we're on a podcast, was basically the talk we do the week in between is like, what do you think this means? What do you think that means? And Banner's like, there's no way there's going to be a fucking White Walker dragon, and there fucking was, and he was wrong.
No,
we have it on
no,
tape.
I don't know. That's not true. That's not true.
Right after. That'll never. Oh, if that happens, I'll fucking jump off a bridge.
There's no way. That's the stupidest thing ever.
I'll lick dog shit if that's real.
There's the anticipation is what makes the reveals so good too. But once again, we have a culture that can't wait. So just put it all out.
And I guess I'm more speaking towards older shows to go back and rewatch them, like shows like perfect example. I never watched Scrubs when it came out, and I watched the entire series and binged it over the course of, honestly, it was probably like 4 days. But that's something that I wouldn't have been able to do without these streaming services that can allow us to binge watch. Same thing with How I Met Your Mother. I binged that entire series as well.
Well, you know what's going to be interesting now that Disney Plus and Netflix are obviously like going toe to toe. Disney Plus, it looks like all their original series they're going to release week to week. Netflix, of course, has the binge model where like that new Paul Rudd show, most people watched in like 2 days. So I wonder who will blink first. Like who will be the one to adapt to the other ones?
I hope they both just stay true to their ways, just to kind of differentiate themselves a little bit.
But if the goal is to get people to log into your subscription service more, I think Disney Plus's model works better. Because like I could watch Paul Rudd's in one sitting or two. The Mandalorian, I'm logging in every week.
That's true.
But I don't really know what they're trying to get out of it. Is it just time in the platform? Because then the odds of me binging a show that I like kind of like are higher than me coming back week to week for a show I kind of like, you know?
Oh, I will watch 4 episodes of a show that's not good before I stop watching it if it's bingeable.
Right, but you won't wait around week to week to do that same
right,
thing.
if I'm waiting around week to week, if the first episode doesn't get me, I'm not picking it up.
Yeah, so I guess it depends what they want to do. So this is interesting, and I'm with Matt. I kind of hope none of them change.
I have another question. This will probably be for another pod, but I was just wondering this with the Irishman coming out on Netflix, that actually might be the first movie ever get like a Best Picture Oscar nomination through Netflix.
Roma did last year.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so there'd be the second one, and it would be a movie that is like an American, because one Roma in Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, but was that financed by Netflix? Like a Netflix original?
I'm pretty sure it was, yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
But
then.
do you think that to combat that, like if the best movie of the year comes out as a Netflix original movie as The Irishman, do you think Disney might start doing some of their superhero movies just coming out on Disney Plus and not in theaters?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think Disney will be the first to cave on that.
This is something where Disney always, they won't let you show your dick and think it's bigger than theirs, because they always have more money.
Was it Spielberg last year who started fucking bitching about?
Yeah, and then he was the one that announced the
Apple Plus.
The Apple Plus, yeah.
God, what a piece of shit.
Fuck that dude.
I think we have an episode titled "What Does Steven Spielberg Even Lift?"
Yeah, it's something like that, or what's Steven Spielberg's deal?
It's like
I don't check it out if you ever heard. I remember talking about that. Anyway, Jeff, what are you thankful for?
All right, so mine is thankful that something isn't happening, and that's that we are finally letting the superhero genre breathe a little bit. So, obviously, after Avengers Endgame, I think we all felt very satisfied, but I needed a second, you know? It was like getting too serious with my boyfriend and like, or girlfriend, I guess. I was thinking of like the things that I've been told when I was dumb. That's why I flipped it. Yeah, I have that's the other reveal. No, like the relationship was getting too serious, and we just both needed space. We're going to summer camp, and it's like, let's figure it out. Because since Spider-Man: Far From Home in June, we have not had a wide release superhero movie. We've had a couple shows,
Joker.
And then, well, it's like a superhero movie.
Okay.
That's like I mean, if someone wants to count that, we can have that
I don't
debate.
know what that is.
And then there's nothing this Christmas because it's Star Wars, and there's actually nothing until February of next year, which I think is that fantabulous Birds of Prey or whatever the fuck that movie is. And for me, it's just been a kind of a much needed break. Obviously, we started this podcast on our love of superhero movies, but we've all gotten a little bit like the back and forth of the casting and like, you know, all that stuff just kind of wore us out to the point where we still love them, but we don't obsess over them the way we used to. And the genre was getting, I think Endgame was really nice because it was a perfect culmination of like 10 years of storytelling. And DC still has like some interesting stuff on their slate. Like I'm kind of interested about Wonder Woman, and this Robert Pattinson Batman gets a little more intriguing to me every day. But I did need to kind of step away from the genre. So I am glad that this Christmas we're not getting a superhero movie and that we haven't had one since the summer. And we can all just kind of relax, man, and appreciate them more when they come out instead of feeling like we're oversaturated. What do you guys think?
I love that Marvel after Endgame is just like, okay, we're just gonna stop for a while. It makes it mean more. It wouldn't make Endgame mean as much as if in 2 months, you know, something else came out. So I really like that. DC, I don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, they came out with Shazam, which is poppy and shit, then came out Joker that's darker and shit. Now they're doing a Birds of Prey, but I'm with you, man. Like, after a while, I think they're just throwing these against the wall, hoping that something will stick. I've always been more inclined on Star Wars, superhero movies, what have you. Take your time and send out a good movie. I think The Dark Knight did it the best, like with 2 to 3 years, sometimes 4 years in between movies. Make it like a World Cup, something that we look forward to, and once it happens, we're all fucking crazy about it. The anticipation has just gone away in these movies, and I'm kind of glad it's kind of coming back in a way.
Yeah. And it's really I never thought I'd get to the point where I said that. Like, if you go listen to our earlier episodes, they're pretty much like all superhero news, because that's what got us fucking jacked up. And then we realized, I think it was the Matt Reeves Batman situation. We're
I
like,
mean,
all right,
yeah.
I can't ride this roller coaster every single day. It's like, I'm gonna vomit.
With all
Getting
that being
ass is
said,
fun, but after a while, it's just too much ass, you know.
Definitely.
with all that being said, isn't Marvel starting in, I think, 2021, maybe even next year, 2020? They're releasing like 4 movies a year.
We're
Did
gonna
they
get
just
3 a
announce
year,
that?
but now the Disney Plus shows also. So you're right. We will get back to sort of the oversaturation.
Yeah.
But for now, I was just glad that after the end game, like,
Got a little breather.
right, like Geiger said, if they wanted to have us really feel the weight of that, we needed to step away for a little bit. And it'll have been almost a year when Black Widow comes out between movies in May.
However, Marvel, though, give them a year, but I'm kind of ready for some oversaturation with them because they just acquired X-Men and Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
So
that
they
is
actually
true.
got some shit that they could do, unlike, DC that just kind of keeps doing the same thing just in a different way. They got some stuff. I mean, we've never seen an X-Men Marvel movie. What would that look like? What would a Fantastic Four movie look like with actual Marvel Disney behind it?
What Disney
not 20th
needs to
Century
do
Fox?
with that is they need to make an X-Men show and then actually cross it over into the movies.
See, I totally agree with that, Banner. And the reason why is because there's so many X-Men characters, it's hard to develop them in a 2-hour span. And then if you develop one in a 2-hour span, just like we saw with the original X-Men movies, which I don't really have a problem with, the first 3, they're actually really good. But you get your favorites, you're like, man, we want to see Hugh Jackman. He better get like half the screen time, but you're still trying to introduce other characters. I think we saw how it worked with Daredevil and Punisher and all that stuff. It just gives way more character arc and way more time to develop everyone.
Let them breathe. Let them fucking breathe. Take your
Let 'em
hand off
breathe.
their mouth. Jesus. All right, anything else, guys? So we'll move on to Protein Shake.
I'm thankful for our podcast, which is almost at 3. I'm thankful for all our subscribers too, guys. Thanks for everyone listening.
You guys rock, man. I mean,
Yeah,
sorry
thankful
we
for you
waste
guys.
so much of your goddamn time, but we're so glad to have you.
I mean, don't show up in my door and wear my skin as a skin suit or anything, but I am thankful that you
You'd
listen.
be so lucky. Lingerers. All right, that brings us to our protein shake, where we go around and talk about what is in our cup, also known as what have we watched lately. But actually, now I am remembering there are 2 corrections I have to make for last episode. I think Blu-ray Watcher gave us these. If it's not him, God, I'm so sorry. I'm an asshole if it's a different person. So 2 things I fucked up. And I actually think this was changed in like the last 2 months. But the Halloween movies we were talking about, there are 2 things I fucked up. So I said there were 9 sequels that they ignored. That was counting the 2 Rob Zombie movies, so it was just 7 sequels. My point still stands.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically, he was telling the same story just with different actors, so they did kind of ignore it. But yeah, I understand.
Right, so 7 sequels. Again, if you think that lessens my point, I don't think you've got my point.
You're part of the
the
problem at that point.
The other one, so Danny McBride and Joseph Gordon-Green, who wrote the screenplay to the new Halloween, they are doing the next 2 movies, which they swear to God will end the Halloween franchise. Halloween Kills and then Halloween Ends. And it was actually recently announced, the first one was going to come out in July, but now they are both coming out in successive Octobers.
Thank God.
Yeah, so Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends are coming out in October. Another one, we were talking about James Dean being recreated in CGI. And we were talking about Grand Moff Tarkin having the same thing done to him in Rogue One. And I accidentally said Peter Mayhew had played him. That's the guy who plays Chewbacca. It's Peter Cushing is Grand Moff Tarkin. He's also Dracula in Nosferatu.
What if Mayhew did play him like he's doing double duty? He's like, you really think I'm the best guy for this?
He's like, I mean, I'll take the paycheck. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. All right. On to our protein shake. What's in our cup? Also, what have we watched lately? Banner, how many things you looking at? I got a pretty full one here.
Just 3 or 4.
Okay, Geiger, how about you?
I've kind of painted myself in the corner as being the guy that only has one, so we have a deep conversation, and I always try to watch something current, so I have one.
Okay, let me knock a couple of these out. I might have lied about this on the pod, so I'm just going to admit it. I finally saw Frozen for the first time in my life.
Wow.
Still never seen it.
It's okay. It's solid. I think all the music is overrated except for "Let It Go." That song fucks. It goes hard in the paint.
I do not agree with that at all.
Do you want to build? Do you want to build a snowman? Dog shit. Whatever that song is that she sings, like right when they get to Arendelle, almost had to mute my fucking TV. But "Let It Go," at least the chorus. I mean, my God, is that a banger?
It's catchy if you're like 5. I'll give you that. But you can go and listen to Moana, which has just as many songs. Pound for pound, every single one of those songs is better.
Moana has some bangers too, but "Let It Go," man. I don't know, man. It riles me up. It's like my Enter Sandman currently.
Wow.
I gotta say this, Banner, you'll love this. Olaf, absolutely hate him as a character. Is it influenced by the fact that I hate Josh Gad? Of course it is.
Yes, it is.
Of course it is. He was the only thing that didn't work. What was the reindeer's name? Sven?
Sven is funny as shit.
Sven is so awesome that he makes up for Olaf, which is saying something because Olaf is that bad. Olaf is like the middle reliever who comes in and gives up fucking 4 runs in a third of an inning. And then Sven has to come in and throw like 3 shutout just so his offense can get back in the game. And I won't spoil the end of Frozen if you haven't, but dude, that twist,
yeah,
I did not see that coming.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah. I'm shocked that it wasn't ruined for you. I'm happy for you.
I don't know what the twist. I didn't even know there was a twist.
I was pretty blindsided. Like it started happening, and I was like, "Is this fucking serious?"
Yeah.
To watch that this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pumped. If Geiger, if you watch it, then you'll be caught up. We can do a Frozen 2 review.
It's on Disney Plus, right? Is that where you're watching?
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I'll watch it off Cody.
That's so ridiculous. But I really like Frozen. I went to the theaters and I saw Jojo Rabbit. I'm sure you guys have heard of this. Written, directed, and starring Taika Waititi, who plays an imaginary young German boy's imaginary friend Hitler. Scarlett Johansson's in it. Sam Rockwell, Stephen Merchant. It's pretty fucking hilarious, and it's getting some.
See this.
It's very, very funny. It's very, very offensive, so you'll probably like it. And it's getting some Best Picture buzz. Sam Rockwell's character is fucking incredible. He plays this guy who is forced to teach like this summer camp for young Nazis because he fucked up in the army, and so now he basically like shits on the Nazis like to the kids because he hates his job and he really wants to be like back in the war. And one of his eyes is missing.
If anyone listening has been to the theater the past month, you've probably seen this trailer, unless you're going to like a Disney movie. It's a very interesting trailer when I saw it.
And I don't know why, I'm a sick fuck, but there was like an old guy and his wife next to me. 10 minutes in, Taika Waititi starts full R-rated Taika Waititiing all over the script. And him and his wife were disgusted and walked out. And that made me like the movie even more. Like, you lost, Boomer. This is my fucking film.
That's great. That's great.
If you're offended easily, don't go see it.
If you're offended easily, you're probably not still listening to us.
Yeah. I'll get one more in, and then I'll toss it to you guys, and I can close this out. But I might have said this earlier on the pod. So for a while, I had free HBO Cinemax Stars, like the whole like one of those 3-month trial things. And I just went nuts knowing that I would not renew it and went through my TV guide and just like set to record a ton of movies that I was interested in. So I'm starting to go through this list. And one of them was Without a Paddle that I was just revisiting.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Dax Shepard, Seth Green, Matthew Lillard. It's pretty solid, man. Like, there's a lot of jokes in there that you can't make now. Like, they make fun of, like, gay people and mentally challenged people, and I'm like, dude, what? This movie's way older than I thought. It's like 2002, but it's pretty funny, man. I normally don't like Seth Green, but he basically just gets shit on this whole movie for being like a pussy, and the plot to it's actually kind of cool. It's like four friends,
Treasure
all
hunt.
all from high school. One of their friends passed away and kind of left them like a map to this treasure that he found. It's like
I
a
love
coming
that
of age.
cast, Jeff. It's like if 3 second-string quarterbacks in the NFL just got together and like played catch or something. Because none
Yeah.
of those guys are like A-plus players at all. They're
For
all
sure.
okay.
They're all very useful in ancillary or supporting roles, especially Dak Shepard. But there's really like no lead. I guess Matthew Lillard is technically the lead, and even he's like, wait, me?
Yeah.
Is Freddie Prinze gonna show up and save my ass? What's gonna
Yeah,
happen?
this is what happens when you get like 3 betas together. They don't know how to be an alpha.
It's exactly what it is. But it was a fun little movie. It was a little bit longer than I would have liked. It was like an hour 45 minutes. So it took me like 3 sittings to watch it, but I cleared it out. Really the only reason I finished it was so I could talk about it on the show. So, all right, Banner, how about you?
All right. So, Jeff mentioned it earlier. We did Mandalorian review, watching that week to week. So watch that. I don't know why, but I went on a little woman warrior kick here. This was prior to the Elizabeth Banks deal, but watched Wonder Woman again and Captain Marvel. And my God, is Wonder Woman a much better movie.
I won't argue
Wonder
with
Woman's a
that.
great movie.
Wonder Woman's
Great
really,
movie.
really good.
And Captain Marvel is really, really bad. Like Brie Larson, you can't even watch her in
We
it.
know you hate Brie Larson. Just
No.
Actually, Banner, I believe Wonder Woman's the only time that this new DCU tried to be funny and actually succeeded. Because it was actually her and Chris Pratt's dynamic, and you know how Chris Pratt's like, I'm actually
Pine.
above average and everything. Like, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Pine makes a joke in the
Oh,
movie.
sorry, Pine. Yeah.
She's
Sorry.
like, "Are all men like you?" And he goes, "I'm above average."
Yeah.
Which is like whatever.
They had some really good chemistry and they fed off of each other, unlike Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson, which Sam Jackson tried. He tried all he could. It just wasn't working.
And
And
I thought Jude Law was really good in that, though.
I like Jude Law. I thought he was good. And I think I figured out the problem. Brie Larson in action, like movies, I'm not convinced she's fighting or she's doing those moves. Even just running, I'm like, you're not athletic at all.
That's true. If she fought Gal Gadot, which, my God, the amount of money I would pay to see that, Gal Gadot would probably whoop her ass. In fact, but not a fight. Let's make it like a wrestling.
She's got the reach. Gal Gadot's like really tall.
That's true. Gal Gadot actually fought in the Israeli army.
I was gonna say she was in the
Fucking
army,
kill.
so I would take her over a lot of people.
Check out our Wonder Woman commentary. It's actually a really good one. Our gender reveal party on Amazon.
Give us Scara.
Yeah, give us
Matt and I
Scara.
get into a big argument that lasts for like an hour of it.
It's great.
Wasn't that the one about Shiner Blonde?
I don't.
Yeah, I think it was actually.
Yeah, that was great.
That
All
was
right.
one where, like, when we announced we're doing a Wonder Woman commentary, everyone's like, "Ooh, be careful,
Yeah, be careful on that one.
tread lightly." What?
It's one of our highest views commentaries. I think it's in our top 10, top 15.
People love to watch a forest fire, you know.
Obviously Disney Plus came out, so we are going through some old movies. We watched Tangled again.
I've
Mandy
never seen
Moore, Zachary Levi. It's Rapunzel's story. It's good. It's got a couple bangers in it.
The two main characters in that are supposedly in one of the backgrounds of a scene in Frozen and Arendelle.
That's what I heard as well. I didn't watch for it though, so I don't know. Anyway, watch that. Yeah, it's decent. It's worth a revisit. And then another really underrated movie I went back and revisited is Ratatouille, Pixar.
Very underrated.
Movie about a rat that becomes a chef in France.
Imagine that pitch at Disney. They're like, "Wow, so we're really just gonna try anything now, right?"
Yeah. And
then
it
it
worked.
fucking worked. Yeah, and then it worked. And they're like, "Fuck."
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got. We were in. Me and the family went to Disney World this week, so got a light week as far as the movie watches go.
Wow. Yeah. By the way, your entrance to the next pod, if we get Matt's Skype figured out, you'll have to do what you did.
Yes, we will.
All right, Matt. I'm always interested to hear what you watched this past week. What's in your cup?
So I'm gonna flip the coin for our listeners because I knew this would happen. I mean, Banner, for Christ's sakes, just got back from Disney World. He's definitely drinking the Kool-Aid and was gonna talk all about Disney Plus. So I'm gonna talk about Netflix, and I'm really into. I know, Jess' mom's gonna laugh because I'm really fat, but I'm really into health and the way our food's processed because I really believe there's a direct way on how cancer has spiked. Basically because the food and the products we take in and how
Where's the
mass-produced they
punchline
are.
here?
There is none. This is a very serious thing. The Game Changers on Netflix I watched.
Is it a show or a movie?
It's a documentary. It's one of those things. Hour 52 minutes. Basically, this guy travels the world in the quest for the truth about meat, protein, strength, and it kind of shows athletes that are just doing plant-based diets. Don't eat meat. Don't eat any type of chicken, no fish or anything, and not because meat is necessarily bad for you, not because fish is necessarily bad for you, but the way we process it and the way we make it in the United States is bad for you. I'm always interested in this stuff, not because I'll never go full-on vegan. Like, if you know anything about diets, if you're vegan or paleo, this is right up your alley. If you're somebody that thinks that you need red meat, and I'm not really going either way because I eat red meat. I love fish. I eat fish all the time. I eat chicken, and I probably will never stop because I know that there's other sources of protein which this movie dives into. It shows you strength athletes. It shows you combat warriors in the army. It shows you other type of athletes that are basically getting by on no protein sources from meat, chicken, or fish, and finding other ways of protein sources that are actually doing better things for their body than eating our processed meat. It's very interesting. I love these food. The one thing about Netflix that I don't think Disney Plus will ever have is like supersized me movies like that basically I'm like, I never want to drink milk again because of I saw the way it works and stuff. And there's a story that, since we're talking about Nazis earlier, when the Nazis took over this some town, they made all the Jews, they put them in concentration camp. The only thing they gave them was ground vegetables. And the Nazis took all the cows for meat and for milk. And the Nazis got sick, and the Jews didn't. And they were in concentration camps, but they were just eating vegetables all the time.
According to the Nazis, it's because the Jews have demon stomachs.
Yeah, apparently. But it's a very interesting watch. Arnold Schwarzenegger makes an appearance in it, talking about some stuff. But very interesting watch to talk about some of these athletes that basically just eat differently and see things a little differently. I mean, if you're not into health at all, you're not going to like it. But if you're into, prolonging your life and when you're 50 still looking like you're 30 or something, it's a really good watch.
I will say this, and this is why I'm really looking forward to our end of year show. Like the year in review, because I've watched a shit ton of documentaries this year. This is the year of the doc, I think. And Netflix
said that, some wise person.
Some wise lad, or lads. But Netflix is like the main reason why. Like they just have so many of them on so many interesting topics. Even the bad ones are good. Like that Price is Right one that was just like really no story to tell. Mm-hmm. I was still pretty interested in that. So this
and it was quick. It was like 38 minutes.
Yeah. But I'm with you, Geiger. I think this is where Netflix definitely, especially right now, has an advantage over Disney Plus. Is their documentary fare.
It just opens up a conversation too. I mean, you could have a conversation. I mean, I could have a conversation like, okay, plants are good. Yeah, they're good. But what about all the pesticides we put on it? That's not good for you either. Could that be developing cancer and stuff like that?
But then it's like, what are we supposed to eat? If it
I mean, then we're not supposed to eat anything. It's just, for me, it's interesting. Is it going to make me change my diet? Absolutely not. Is it going to make me maybe eat more of this certain vegetable? Maybe, which is good. But it's just a very interesting thing. I love hearing about it and stuff. And, I love seeing Chris Hemsworth work out for Thor and his diet, too. That stuff just interests me on what's put in there. So if that is right up your alley, you'll like The Game Changer on Netflix.
The Game Changer?
All right. The Game Changers, yeah.
Nice. All right, I'll close this out. Banner, I know you saw, actually a couple of these I watched with you guys. Geiger and I watched Rocky, the original from 1976, and we did a movie commentary on it. Look for that. It will be dropping on November 25th, which is the date that the movie opens. And nothing says Thanksgiving movie more than getting in an argument half drunk with someone and throwing a turkey into the back alley of your house, which happens in the movie.
Hey, Paulie, why are you throwing that turkey out? It's good, you know. Oh.
I think you and I got really angry at that scene. I was like, that thing was fucking cooked to perfection.
No shit.
But Paulie was just trying to make a point.
Imagine Nate Thurman smoking a turkey like he did last week for us, and us just throwing it down a hallway. He'd be so pissed.
I don't even want
That's
to
fighting words.
I'll replug watching The Mandalorian, episodes 1 and 2 of season 1 with Banner. We did a review on that last night. As you're listening to this, it's already up on YouTube and iTunes. Check that out. It's the live-action Star Wars movie we've all wanted. Gritty, space western, and 2 big looming questions that they tickled our dicks with at the end of episode 1 and 2 that I'm really excited to see how they end up. All right, Banner, we have to be honest.
Yep, I'm going to be
Brian
honest.
and I have both watched on Disney Plus episodes 1 and 2. That's all they've released. It's not like we stopped because we didn't like it. Of High School Musical, the series.
God, I love it. I love
Banner,
it.
I'll let you go first.
It's captivating. So, is the acting good?
I can't look away.
Yeah.
We're losing subscribers.
Is the acting good? No, not at all. They clearly go, "Hey, sing. Okay, you're hired. You're hired. You're hired." But none of them can act. The premise of it is, so the school that High School Musical was filmed at, like an actual high school, they are now doing the play of High School Musical. So it's kind of making fun of itself, and it's just I don't even know how to describe it.
Everyone listening at home, over under episode 4.5 that EJ and Nene break up.
Ooh, I'll take the over. 4.5?
You think they make it past episode 4?
Yeah, I think they do.
Fucking high.
No, well, yeah, but
my fiance gets mad because I sarcastically act like I'm interested in the show, and maybe I actually am. But today we were watching it, and I was like, "Do you think EJ and Nene will break up?" And she goes, "What?" I go, "God, that was stupid. Why did I even ask that? If they can't make it, who the fuck can?"
They're definitely gonna break up, but I think it's gonna be later.
All right.
4.5 episodes.
I'll bet you a beer right now, under 4.5.
Okay, I'll take the over.
Wow.
Fucking idiot.
So we'll see. We'll see who's an idiot in 2.5 weeks.
One other thing I'm watching on Disney Plus, Boy Meets World. Rewatching it. Obviously, I've seen it before. Don't freak out at home. I'm 4 episodes in. Minkus and Morgan, his little sister, are great. I was talking to Geiger about this actually last weekend, and how do they write Minkus out of the show when they get to high school? Because he's definitely not like in it anymore.
See, it's
I thought
it's on Hulu.
I thought he was in it till the end.
No, not Minkus. No.
Matt said he like shows up like at their graduation.
He shows up at their high school graduation is just kind of a thing. But I
remember
Jeff.
him in...
I went right to the middle school because I didn't like the first couple seasons. I went right where it was kind of funny, and Corey and Sean, like I think they're maybe 8th grade or freshman in high school. That's the first.
So one other thing I actually wrote, maybe you'll know this. So Sean, in the beginning, has a sister. Is she just written out of the show, or do they like act like she never existed? Because she's definitely not.
Never exists. He finds out he has a brother, which is Matthew Lawrence. Later.
Right, it's half brother, but he's like talking to his sister on the phone a lot in the first couple episodes, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, she's not in this show later.
It was almost like a Saved by the Bell that was supposed to be like Good Morning Miss Bliss that they basically just rewrote after about 2 seasons, but kept a couple characters. But Boy Meets World just pretty much kept every character, but just rewrote their characters. Like, Will Friedle is totally different character.
Oh my god, dude, Eric, maybe one of the weirdest transfer. When they get to college,
wait till Linda Cardellini gets in there, Jeff, because that's who he cheats on Topanga with.
Oh shit!
Did you know that?
No, that's awesome.
I'd cheat on Topanga for that too.
Yeah, but then I would look back at Topanga.
I don't know, Topanga.
Him and Topanga just had their first kiss actually in episode 4.
Oh.
So that
spoilers.
That milestone happened. Oh, so but what he said isn't spoilers?
No.
No.
You think Linda Cardellini and Topanga would just like be friends? Then maybe would you all three could maybe do something?
I'd watch that.
What do we want to see more of that,
You mean
or
watch it? You be part of it.
Gal Gadot and Brie Larson wrestling? I mean, both of those. There's a lot of sick fucks out there really enjoying this episode.
I think what we got is a tag team match here.
Yes. How many subscribers have their hands on their dick right now? It's like, then what happens? Easy.
Jesus Christ.
It's in the pod for that.
One other thing that I have, but I do have quite a few notes on this one. So, Gargoyles is on Disney Plus, and I'm going to be watching about one of these a week, and I'm going to bring like a full review of each episode as we go. All right. So, season 1, episode 1, part 1, The Awakening.
Wow.
There's a few things I want to talk about here. So, I forgot how fucking awesome this show is. I know Matt and I both had the board game. I think my mom still does have the board game, actually. We should play it. If we can find a way to...
It's with the movie somehow, yeah.
We just need to find a way to play the VHS that comes with it.
I don't know how we'd do that. I'm sure you could just find it on YouTube.
I was going to say.
That's probably true. Look at us trying to like reinvent the fucking wheel. Some dumbass. Like, just look it up on YouTube, dipshit. The whole series is on Disney Plus. So the fat gargoyle in it, who's like Goliath's right-hand man, he's actually voiced, Brian, you'll know this, by the actor who plays Marshall Erickson's dad in How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, really? That's cool.
And he's great. He's like eating a turkey leg in the middle of like their big battle where they're like killing Vikings. He's like perfect. Totally forgot that there's a gargoyle dog that they have.
I remember like an orange guy that almost looks like the point guard from Space Jam.
The orange skinny guy. So the first episode goes back to 1994 or 994 AD Scotland. And there's this sick ass battle where Goliath kills a bunch of drunk Scottish soldiers for really no reason. Like they wake him up and they're like, kill those fucking guys. And he just does it. And then it's really unfair because that same Scottish kingdom that he fought for, like, hates him. It's like the Jim Crow South, basically. Like, yeah, we'll watch you play sports, but you can't drink from the same drinking fountains as us. It's really fucked up. Banner, you would love the score. It goes really hard in the paint, and I wrote that it's like a mashup of Jurassic Park and the Guardians of the Galaxy theme.
Ooh, I can get behind that.
Yeah,
so
I think...
Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't the intro not a song, but basically them just saying, like, they used to be this, now they're gargoyles?
So, I believe so, but the first episode starts in New York City, and there's, like, this big fight happening on top of a building, and you don't know what the fuck's going on, and then it flashes back very quickly to Scotland. So they haven't, like, revealed how they get to modern day yet. But I think we'll get there in the
Is a reporter there? Isn't she hot?
There's like a hot... She looks like Carmen Sandiego.
What seed is she? What seed would she be?
What?
What seed would she be in our tournament?
She'd be like an 8.
Wow, okay.
So like she could fuck with a 1 seed if you get her in the second round. But she's like a badass cop. And then the last thing I wrote, every time the sun is about to come up and they're gonna turn to stone, I forgot about this. They all have to find like this badass pose to get in, because that's what they're going to be stuck in for a whole day as a statue. And you don't want to be like picking your asshole, and then it's like, people come by and they're like, well, they don't look that intimidating. Like this guy's like watching fucking TV.
He's got his hand down his pants eating a chicken wing.
Exactly. So like the guy will be eating Cheetos and like sun's about to come up and be like, oh fuck, and I'll try and get in like this hardcore pose as he's frozen.
That's awesome.
But I'm one episode in. They're 18 minutes long, dude. I'm gonna fucking watch this. It's only like 2 seasons, I think. I'm gonna destroy this. Don't worry, I'll check back in next week with my.
Can't wait for that.
Guys, I don't think we have time for Do Even Whisper, to be honest. But that's okay. We'll save it for next week. We'll tease right there. That's what we do in the biz.
It's called tickling your balls.
All right, before we leave, actually, Banner, I need to tell you this. I almost texted you today, but not while I was driving, of course. I legit saw a person not pull over for another fucking emergency vehicle.
You gotta be shitting me.
I got pretty upset. I was like, is this actually a thing now? It wasn't like a one-off?
What if that was your family member in the ambulance?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want people to pull over so that they can get to the hospital and be saved better?
Did you just speed up by him and give him a Bro 4 Squad business card? That's the only way.
Yeah. But then let them go do the life-saving thing.
You're doing God's work then.
Which part? Great message, Bader. Geiger, what do you want to leave the people with?
That there's still one person, I think I'm guessing Cycly has Disney Plus, that isn't on Disney's dick. And I'm really glad I don't have the Disney Plus because it sounds like all you guys have been doing is just watching Disney Plus shows, and I would do the exact
Yeah,
same thing.
that's all I've done.
Well, we both know how it ends, right?
It was 73 degrees today. I'm glad that I wasn't at home just watching Disney Plus all fucking day. But it sounds awesome. Like, I would love to watch Gargoyles, and this Mandalorian thing sounds really right up my alley, but...
And the original X-Men animated show is on there.
I already have that on DVD. My
Yeah,
mom
his
gave me
mom
that.
bought it.
I forgot.
We've watched almost all of it.
Yeah.
Pre going to the bars. This is all going to end with us just giving you our Disney Plus login, and then Netflix will probably just start paying you for being like their lone. So the one guy who stayed.
The Mandalorian, though, it's going to be Westworld for me. I'm going to wait for you guys to do all the reviews. I won't listen to any of them. And then if you guys give me your stamp of approval that it didn't suck at the end, I'll rewatch them all and then listen to your reviews. That's what I'll
really
do.
Smart.
That's what I did with Westworld.
You're like Rod Tidwell to Netflix. You're like the one guy who stayed. And they're
I'm like Sting whenever WWE bought WCW and just waved my hand and be like, no thanks, I'm going to stay here. Like, why? It makes no sense. I'm like, I don't know.
It's a better analogy. All right, for the mad scientist, Brian Banner, and our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger, I am the mayor, Jeff Hornacek, and we are the Bro 4 Squad podcast. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Please follow us on Twitter at Bro 4 Squad. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. Type in Bro Force Squad, 3 separate words. Put those same 3 words into letterbox.com. You can check out all of our reviews. And of course, we have all of our content and links to everything on our website, bro4squad.com. I would say we'll see you next time, but Brian and I have to go watch 10 more hours of Disney Plus tonight. So my wife hasn't seen me in months. And I know it's only been out for a week, so we got some other shit we're dealing with.